On the 7th day of May 2013, the Daily Monitor published a classified letter headed Proposed Investigations, dated 29th April 2013, purportedly written by General David Sejusa, addressed to the Director General Internal Security Organization, and copied to a number of senior security officers, including the Chief of Defense Forces and the Director General of External Security Organization. Soon after that publication, the police initiated investigations to establish the authenticity of the letter published by the Daily Monitor. According to the preliminary inquiries, it was established that the Director General Internal Security Organization, to whom the letter was addressed, as well as the officers to whom the letter was copied, never received it. Evidently, it was only the Daily Monitor in possession of the letter. The police commenced investigations by asking the journalists and the editors of the Monitor to explain how they got the letter and also to avail the letter. However, the Monitor employees declined to cooperate. Subsequently, on the 9th of May 2013, the police summoned the two journalists who were the authors of the story, as well as the managing director, Monitor Publications Limited. They reported to CID headquarters on the 14th of May 2013. However, they refused to cooperate with the police. Given the lack of cooperation from the editors and the journalists of the Monitor Publication Limited, on the 16th of May 2013, the police applied for and obtained an order from court compelling Monitor Publication Limited to avail not only the documents but also state its source. Again, the Monitor Publications Limited declined to respect the court order. Subsequently, on the 20th of May 2013, the police decided to go to court again, this time obtained a search warrant authorizing the search of the Monitor premises for a letter as well as any other documents related to or similar to it. On the 24th of May 2013, the police was served with a court order cancelling the search warrant earlier issued. Noteworthy, the order cancelling the search warrant was issued by the same magistrate who had earlier issued the search warrant. The police found this to be highly irregular and has challenged the order, and the matter is before the courts of law. In order to facilitate the continuation of and completion of the search, the police invoked the provisions of Section 27 of the Police Act, which empowers police to conduct searches without search warrant. It should be noted that from the time the search commenced, the police treated the Monitor premises and had them sealed as a scene of crime, because part of the letter, apart from the letter, certain crimes had been committed by the Monitor Publication Limited, in particular violations of the Official Secrets Act. As you know, every country has to have their own secrets, particularly in relation to security. In the meantime, the management of the Monitor Publication Limited made contact with me, and on the 24th and 25th of May 2013, the government and representatives of the Monitor Publications met in an effort to amicably settle the matter. Later on Sunday, the 26th of May 2013, the management of the Nation Group met His Excellency the President in Addis Ababa, where he was attending the African Union Summit. as a follow-up of the above-mentioned meeting. As a follow-up to the undertakings in a meeting with His Excellency the President and the National Media Group, a delegation led by myself met representatives of the Nation Group at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. On the government side, the meeting was attended by Honorable Rose Namayanja Sereko, Minister for Information and National Guidance, General Kale Kaihura, Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christopher Gashirabake, the Acting Solicitor General, Mr. Fono Pondo, the incoming Executive Director, Government Media Center. The Nation Group was represented by Dr. Simon Kagugube, Chairman, Monitor Publications, and Mr. Linus Gitahi, Chief Executive of the Nation Media Group. In the meeting, the Nation Media Group made written undertakings to the government. You must note that the Media Nation Group is the owner also of the Monitor Publications. Specifically, the following are the highlights. They highly regretted the story that led to the closure of the Monitor newspaper and KFM and Dembe radio stations. They undertook that the Monitor newspaper will only publish on-air stories which are properly sourced, verified, and factual. They also undertook that the reporting in the Monitor newspaper will always be objective, fair, and balanced. They undertook to be sensitive to and not publish on or air stories that can generate tensions, ethnic hatred, cause insecurity, or disturb law and order. They acknowledge that there had been violations of their editorial policy by their reporters and editors in Uganda. They availed us with a copy of their editorial policy and undertook to ensure that both the letter and the spirit of the policy are respected. They had written a letter spelling out those commitments. They undertook to tighten their internal editorial and gatekeeping processes to ensure that stories that impact especially on national security are subjected to the most rigorous scrutiny and verification process before they run. Further, they undertook to seek regular interface with the government of Uganda to ensure that the undertakings they have made will be respected and implemented. They undertook to ensure that the Monitor publications will observe and comply with the laws of Uganda. In particular, they committed themselves to cooperate with the police on the ongoing investigations. In view of the above mentioned commitments and undertakings by the management of the Nation Media Group, Monitor Publications, to the government, and at the request of the management, the police has called off the cordon of the Monitor premises so that they resume their normal business as police continue with their investigations. To the BBC reporter, Ms. Berohanga, you are asking whether if there is anything wrong, anything wrong on the Sejusa story, or if there's any mistake in it. First of all, Sejusa is a serving military officer, high-ranking military officer. In his docket, he has a responsibility for the security of this country. This country's security management is handled by Sejusa, among others. So the correspondence which the general wrote is classified by nature, because there is correspondence always within the military, the security agencies that goes on with respect to ensuring that there is harmony in our country, there is peace, and there is no violation of law and order and so forth. That correspondences are going on. But some of those correspondence, like particularly within the military circles, is not a public, is supposed not to be publicized. It's not a public document. Every country has their systems of managing security to ensure their country is safe and peaceful. So by getting this letter out and getting it published itself is a violation of the security laws of our country, and that is the violation of law which has happened.
Was it not factual? Was it not properly sourced? And was it not verified by the general himself?
To qualify that information, whether factual or not, itself will be a violation of the law. I cannot state it here. I cannot state that it's factual or not factual. It is something which can be discussed at a security level, which you are not privileged to listen to. So, because the responsibility of peace in our country is in our hands, not in the hands of BBC. BBC would like to mess everything up and make sure that we are with their news. The newspapers, all public figures are there to be reported on if they have done any mistakes and so on. There is nothing, this is false. What you are saying, that I've directed the Monitor not to report on the First Family, it is false. I've never directed that. Actually, even the President himself has said he's not immune to publish. Reporting on him is not the issue. Reporting on any public figure is not the issue. And that statement which you have fabricated is not true, because if you go and publish that, it is false. And for that, we can take you to task to answer, because we have never, in fact, this is a fallacy, this is a problem in our country here. People fabricate huge lies and lump it there. And then they get away without responsibility, taking responsibility. It's not right. You better take responsibility of those kind of statements. What we have agreed on is that let them be cautious about security information. Because our country, Uganda, has suffered a lot over the past many years with security problems. We have had turbulence here because of misreporting, because of this and that. So why don't we get our country safe so that the democracy and the freedom of the press you are enjoying continues? Because if there is a shootout here, there will be no law and order. Even you will not be able to be allowed to report anything. You will not be able to conduct business. So that's what we are saying. Let that security aspect be protected so that we can play the game. Even the president is part of the game. We play around with. Everybody's playing. There'll be no what you can report, but I could not definitely have directed that paper not to report on the First Family. That is not. That was not the topic. It was security related. The Red Pepper publications, we have been having contact with the Red Pepper. And I think this morning at around 11 o'clock, we shall be meeting the Red Pepper leadership with the view of streamlining, agreeing, if we can agree with them, along the lines that really they would operate within the law and order, not violating the laws. We shall have no problem with allowing them to continue printing. But as of now, they are being searched because of having violated the laws in their printing. So that one, the details of that we shall discuss with them, and then perhaps we shall come up and agree, or not agree, in which case then General Kale might not have difficulties in withdrawing his men from there. But we shall have to agree. Now, there was a question whether the undertakings made by the media group and the Monitor publication does not tantamount to kind of compromising the press or infringing on the freedom of of expression. No. No, actually, all the undertaking they wrote here, they gave us, are within their media policy. Actually, they are all contained in their editorial policy and media policy. That's what they gave us here. They have also acknowledged that their journalists erred. They did not follow what the publication never followed their media, their what editorial policy. They admitted that, and therefore they said now they'll make sure they follow the media policy. We haven't asked them what to write. We haven't told them what to write. They can write whatever story they find, whatever their views, their opinion. We have no problem with that, as long as they operate within the laws. And by the way, even their editorial policy is even more comprehensive than our legal act.
That's true.
But our law, when they gave us actually, we found out that maybe we should adapt that into our laws.
Yes,
Yeah,
very good. Very
the editorial policy is so good that really we could even adapt it in our laws.
Yes, but they don't follow it.
Yeah, but they are not following it. For example, when in their policy, it's very clear that they will not publish anything that can cause ethnic tension, or, the insecurity. But these are not in our laws. Now we are going to adapt it in our laws. People, would you be happy to cause ethnic tension and then the wars and so on? No, their policies are excellent. So I don't see any problem. We haven't dictated to them anything. They came up with those proposals, which to us is acceptable. It is even better than our media laws. So we said, okay, since you are going to abide by that, we have no problem. You can now start operating, but the commitment we wanted from them is to cooperate with police in our investigation. Which I said, okay, because anybody, any citizen, any individual, any company must always cooperate with police when they're investigating crime. That one is acceptable to them. So there is no cause for them to be closed. They can go on doing their business as long as they operate within their laws and they help us on this incident, on this crime, whatever happened. Now, whistleblower protection, it is a must. I don't know, I'm not in charge of that one now, but I don't know. I think the IGG, that's ethics and integrity. But it's better always to give cover to whistleblowers. It helps a lot. That's how the Kazindas came to be exposed. So if the whistleblower is exposed, then how will you get the Kazindas? There are so many there. So we have to get them, but whistleblowers should help us. Now, somebody was asking whether I made contact with General Sejusa. I don't even know his telephone number. You give me the number. Give me his contact. Let me get in touch with him and talk with him and persuade him to apologize and come back home. Really, we need peace here in Uganda, honestly. We need peace. Let changes happen democratically, but not physically, not by force. Because we need whatever, the buildings that have risen up in Kampala not to be shot down. We need you people to continue doing your journalism peacefully. As long as you are within the law, nobody should interfere with you. We need political parties to function. Actually, another information I want to give you is that we met inter-party organization for dialogue. All political parties of Uganda, which are in Uganda here, JEMA, DP, FDC, UPC, all those, we met them on Tuesday. I called a meeting with them to help us to get this problem sorted out. Because we wanted also stakeholders' input into solving this problem which has brought about the closure of Monitor newspaper. We had a very fruitful meeting, and some of their inputs are what we have considered as government, that all these political parties had their input into what our discussions was, in our discussion with the Monitor and the media newspaper. So, because all of us are interested in peace, there's information circulated that the office of this coordinator of military of intelligence is disbanded. That's why I don't know about that. I'm hearing the first time. I think the press were very good at fabricating these things. So maybe I'm hearing the first time. I don't know whoever has come up with it.
No. That office still exists?
Yeah.
And isn't it strange that as an internal affairs minister,
Contact in Kampala. I know his telephone numbers in Kampala. I know his office number in Kampala. But now in London, I don't know the office. I don't know the telephone number. How do I get it? Huh? Who in government? Who in government should contact him? I think he is working. He's under Ministry of Defense, so the Defense Minister should answer that question. If it was Kaleka who would have gone out, I would look for him. I would get his contact. But now, Sejusa, I'm not.
The Daily Monitor should not have, in the first place, received it. If you read the Official Secrets Act, the letter which is a confidential correspondence between government officials, especially security officials. This was a highly classified document where General Sejusa is directing the Director General ISO to investigate certain allegations. Now, that letter should not have been received by the Monitor in the first place. Once they receive it, they should have, instead of publishing it, should have sent it back to where it came from. Yes, yeah, because I'm helping you so that you don't get into trouble. That is the number one. That is the number one. Now, in the event that they choose to publish it, they should at least have tried to verify with whoever. First of all, with the DG ISO, or with the other government security authorities, about what he was talking about before publishing. That's what we are saying. But to rush and publish, and even that story, amplify what is in the contents of the story as though it's true. Like Moho's project, they talk about it as though it's a fact. You see, that's the problem. In fact, they not only amplified, but they even twisted. So because they presented in the story, which published the letter, as though what was in the letter were not allegations, but actually were facts. They were factual. So that's the problem of Monitor. So, and that's what we're investigating: the violations of the Official Secrets Act, and on the part of the army, because it's a joint investigation. The army is the lead because this is a military officer. The violations of offences under the UPDF Act, I can make reference to those. So that's what I thought I should respond. Now on Associated Press, by the way, before I leave that, this question of leakages from government is becoming a global concern. That's why this man, the WikiLeaks man, is now hiding in Ecuador. The British police is looking for him. He's hiding. Hold on, please. Excuse me. Those are leaks. Associated Press in America, recently they were raided because of leaks again from government. Okay, and I remember they tried to put President Obama in the spot, and he said, "I will not apologize for raiding the Associated Press." So government must be protected in its work, and that's why we have Official Secrets Act, and journalists must respect the law. If you read Section 3 of the Press and Journalists Act, says you must comply with the laws of Uganda as you go about publishing whatever you publish. So now, coming to your question, let me clarify that it's not the police investigating General Sejusa. It's the military, it's the UPDF. Our involvement is here to support the military authorities to investigate him. The way where we come in mainly is with respect to the story of the Monitor and the stories which have come in the media, because of course we are not subject to military law, so we have to come in as civil authority to investigate the Monitor and the Red Pepper. So the question of whether to ask for him, to ask for his extradition or whatever, that's really not my. You ask the military authorities on that one. Now, you don't do research. If you read the court order from the magistrate, it only says that return the search warrant which we gave you. And we did that. We returned it to her. That's what the order does. If you read that says, oh, your search warrant I gave you, I have changed my mind, so please bring it back. Now, we returned it and challenged her decision in court because we found it extremely irregular. It never happens that way. Maybe a higher court could have ordered, but for her to say, "Oh, wait a minute, oh, I've changed my mind." That's
And,
not.
and you are a judge.
And you are yeah, honestly. So we have now, but however, so we are not in contempt of court. And in fact, if we had done, we were in contempt of court, we would have been taken to court by, I'm sure, the other side. Now, as the minister has explained in the statement, we are there on the basis of Section 27 of the Police Act, which gives the police power to search without a search warrant. Police has got that in a need. You can search with a warrant or without a warrant. There is no area, there is no industry, there is no profession that is not regulated. I'm a lawyer. We have got clear regulation. And there is even a Uganda Law Society. You have seen some lawyers being struck off the nominal. So, this, because I'm reacting to Shandia, who is saying that what is contained in this statement amounts to stifling the. This one is actually saying you should. We are only requiring you to do what you should do to respect your own professional ethics. Yesterday, actually, Honorable Minister of Information showed us what was a story in English,
Daily Nation.
Daily Nation,
where the Media Council in Kenya has ordered the Star newspaper to apologize to President Uhuru
7 times.
7 times. An order, like which I think like an order of court. These things never happen here. If you look at the journalistic standards in Daily Nation, which is part of this, which is managed by this group, completely different
standards
from the one of Monitor. Monitor is just wild. But Daily Nation, that's a fact. I can give you evidence. Just stories, fabricating stories. You know this. Now you can see Daily Nation is really very everything that comes out is balanced,
verified,
very professional. Now that's I hope and they acknowledge this, by the way. Let me say this: the Media Nation group and the Monitor Publications Management acknowledge this. They acknowledge that Monitor is way back. They are too political. That's the verdict. Too political, and so they are not. It's like a propaganda piece. Now, so what the minister talked about is simply that you abide by your own professional ethics, by your own editorial policy. Now, the other element which I wanted to just give information on this letter, which really made us, both the military authorities and ourselves in the police, to get very much interested, and which you as investigative journalists should be interested. This letter is addressed to the DG ISO, but DG ISO does not receive it. It's copied to the Chief of Defense Forces. Chief of Defense Forces does not receive this copy. It's copied to the Director General ESO. Director General ESO does not receive it, and they have given a statement actually to that effect that they never received this letter, which was written I think sometime in April, and then it's published by Monitor on the 7th of May. Now, there was enough time if the letter was intended for the addressees, those who were being instructed to investigate what is there. They never received. They never received. So definitely one wonders, was the intention really to investigate those allegations, given that the author in the story of the Monitor acknowledges that is the one who wrote the letter, and it's very interesting. How did it find its way to the Monitor? Doesn't go to those. But which whistleblower? Even in that letter, he's not saying that what is stated there are facts. He's saying there are allegations to be investigated. So you cannot call him a whistleblower. So what I'm saying, you better focus yourselves on that rather than simply speculating. And the question, in my view, of contacting, why should he be contacted? Who should contact who?
Why haven't you tried to contact him?
Why?
Now let the general answer that question.
Well, first of all, we want the letter. After getting the letter, then we shall build our investigation. You know, we are systematic. We're not jumping. If it becomes necessary to question him, we shall look for him and question him.
We have opened up. Monitor is going to start functioning. Can we look back and see what went wrong, so that those other challenges that have brought about these confusions can be stopped? That's all what I want. I want us to have peace in this country. I want us to really do our businesses, including journalism, including whatever business you do it in an environment of peace, a peaceful environment. Because if, for example, you know, in the Bible they say there was a word, is it? God, there's a word. The word is the one which created man, created the earth, turned things around. Meaning, the word meaning actually articulate. The word is, if the journalism is about saying words, saying things, and those are words, those words could turn the whole society into violence. Those words, yeah, like in Rwanda, the genocide which was in Rwanda was because Radio Colin DeMille of Rwanda propagated wiping out the Tutsis, and it articulated it, and eventually over nearly 1 million people were killed. You know, your trade is a very valuable trade to us. It can progress. It can bring positive development, and it can enhance peace, or it can just destroy our environment. So really, my appeal to you is that let us work together. Work together in the sense that we observe what we put as law. As we observe the law, and we follow our ethics. We work ethically. That's what I'm appealing to you to do. Let us follow work ethics and make sure that tomorrow you can still write the papers. So that tomorrow, if there will be a gunshot in the street here, all these glass buildings, the tall buildings are all gunned down, like it happened in 1979. And there was happening during the 1980s up to 85, 81. There were a lot of chaos in this country. You cannot even build a house, it will be shut down. We don't want that environment to come back. The challenges are too many. We are trying to maintain peace in this country. As the outgoing Minister for Internal Affairs, because this is the last interaction I'm having with you, and really, I'm ending it in a good note that Monitor is starting to work again. And the red paper also, we shall deal with them and make sure they are also there. They publish less naked women, because that one, less nakedness, so that, morality, my children can also read. Because now, these small children, when they read now nakedness at very early age, it's a problem. We shall see how to handle issues so that we live a happy life and peaceful.